Thank you. Good day, everyone. My name is Yakub Damola Yakub from Nigeria, Kwara State to be precise. I volunteered with renowned organizations like World Health Organization and UNICEF, a former global youth ambassador with award, a global ambassador with Global Students Program and Press Director, a community manager with LinkedIn Local Nigeria. I also volunteered with GAP Africa as a community lead volunteer. I'll be presenting to you today preserving community knowledge and expanding educational access in Pan-African rural communities, a Fedora-based approach. For instance, what led to the inspiration of this project was about my inspiration as a younger bro. While I was about a young age, I wanted to become a medical practitioner, but unfortunately, it doesn't happen as I planned. So I studied educational management and I'll be moving forward federal approach in order to solve a lot of challenges in rural and remote areas. That is the Pan-African Fedora-based approach. Thank you. Next slide. Good day, everyone. My name is Yakub Damola Yakub, and I'm honored to speak with you today about an initiative that is both personal and profoundly necessary. Preserving community knowledge and expanding educational access in Pan-African rural communities through Fedora. Thank you to the organizers and everyone here for this opportunity. Next. The challenge. Across rural Africa, vast pools of traditional knowledge are at risk of disappearing. At the same time, children and youth often struggle to access quality education materials. Infrastructure challenge. What is the problem here is most rural communities and the remote area, it is very, very hard for them to get educational materials, maybe even to study. I was able to visit about 45 rural communities in Asa local government, so the buildings to be precise. And I can tell you for a fact that most of these children come in long route from their home to secondary school, primary school, about an hour before they can even reach their school to study. And this is a fast problem among rural and remote locations in Nigeria to be precise. Let me say across Pan Africa because the Ghanas and all other Africa are also facing this challenge. To solve this problem, we are able to engage stakeholders, community leaders, teachers, political office, and government parastatals for us to solve this problem because we cannot do it alone. And it will leave a lot of grants and funding to access this information and to get it done. So using Fedora approach, we want to bring federal sourcing data into this approach in order to solve the challenge of atrocity, that is lies that are being programmed by maybe supervisor, educational supervisor, parastatals when they go to remote area, and how much they budgeted for a particular project that is being funded. So if this approach is being initiated, it can actually help a lot of problems in Africa as well. Because if this outsourcing federal-based approach is being improvised and is being used by most big four worldwide organizations, you can actually use it to record an image, video, audio, and multi-languages, that is multilingual. If this approach is being used, it can save us from having to visit maybe someone that is living in far locations, maybe he's living in America, someone that is living in Ghana to have to come back to Nigeria. With this approach, you can actually use this video, audio format in order to decode what is happening and how it is happening. A live event of what is happening. So moving forward, if all these have been solved, we have reduced at least maybe 50% of African problems in terms of and how much data is being, are being forced into statistical analysis for governmental usage. Moving forward, the challenge of language diversity and historical neglect further widening the gap. Our work responds to this dual crisis educational exclusion, and cultural erosion. For instance, folktales, history, rhetoric, and the likes of multilingual languages in different Pan-Africa, that is, the Hausa, the Yoruba, the Tifi, the Ghanaians, and other among them listed. We can actually use this software, that is the outsourcing software, to include all of these languages across all the Pan-African. And it's not limited to that, across the world, that is worldwide. Using this approach, it will save us a lot of time. It will save us a lot of falsehood information, data that are being sent as a live event or maybe as a real data analyst around the world. This problem, this challenge is not only for Africa, it happens everywhere. But let me say most happens in Africa because most of our leaders, they tend to be kind of very personal about what they do. They don't take the community into consideration. They just want to live large and let me say they want to feed themselves among others. So if you are able to solve this challenge, it is a long time and perfect learning experience for me and the world, I think. Thank you. Next slide. Why Fedora? Fedora stands out as a robust open source digital repository platform that supports long-term preservation. It's adaptable for low-resource settings and support structured metadata. We chose Fedora because it enables us to center community needs without sacrificing technical reliability. Okay, why Fedora is among the most standout is very, very fantastic. When I heard about Fedora, Roger PJ Kamara Foundaja from India introduced me to this particular project and told me that apply to this. Maybe you can have something to say about how to solve maybe community challenge, community problem, and the likes of maybe around the world. And I was able to think about something. Then I put on my approach. I was able to find this preserving community needs with Fedora. So using Fedora is a robust in itself already. And they have technicality, they have professionals, and they have all professionals around them. That is parastatals maybe around the world. Me, I'm in Nigeria and they are around the world. They have different people that can work with them in order to support this particular project to be a successful one. So using this Fedora approach, we are even sourcing that if eventually this was successful and maybe the device doesn't have, maybe it was not charged, there can be a form of solar that can support this approach in terms of low connectivity or there is no electricity in remote areas, particularly in Africa. Most remote area in Africa doesn't have electricity, and most thing they use that they are common with is solar panel that generate light for them. Next slide. Our unique use case, we are not just archiving, we are empowering by digitalizing oral history, folktales, urban knowledge, and local educational materials. We are creating a community-led digital knowledge base. Content is captured in local languages and made accessible both online and offline. We are not just archiving, that is, we are not just putting books inside a library. We are not just saving them for present use. We are saving them for a long-time usage for both this generation and the generations to come. If they are able to save this project, they can be able to feel what has happened in the past, not like what we have seen in the past. This approach is a very recent one. It will record our recent live experience, what they said, how they said it, what are the challenges, the pros and cons of what is happening around them as at that generation. So if they are able to capture all of this, those children, the generations to come, be able to study this is how this thing affected our forefathers, this is how this thing affected the past generation, and this is how this thing can be solved. They're able to think wide. Actually, everybody cannot go the same area to think about something. Like this, they can't provide a perfect solution for a particular challenge. They have to come together, maybe the stakeholder, community leaders, the teachers, the political offices, So if they come together, they can be able to provide solutions to it, and they'll be able to solve the problem. Likewise, that is what we are trying to do here as well. So using languages, most languages will be included into this because as we are speaking, it will be interpreted in the local language of that community. So interpretation adds a lot, and even the captions will be showing. Maybe as I was speaking now, it will be showing like Ibolefe Fisi. That is in Yoruba language. In Yoruba language, Ibolefe Fisi means where do you want to put it? So using this approach, it saves a lot of time and it saves us from fraud activity. When this thing saves us, it can actually provide more identity to know who is speaking, who is probing the person, that who is asking the question, and how can we know this person. It is a very straightforward identity than that of just capturing using the Kobo Collect that is being used by other organization to track only the route, that is the GPS, how long it take them to leave from one location to another. Is it 30 minutes? Is it 1 hour? So this approach will include all of these things. And this is a unique experience. Next slide. It will also be incorporated that it will work both offline and online. Not only that, it will work only when there is network connectivity. It will work in online environment, maybe when you have data and when you don't have data on your phone. That is network connectivity. It will work offline as well. Thank you. Then technical architecture. Our Fedora implementation includes low-cost local servers in community centers with solar backup. Content is uploaded by trained local volunteers. Metadata is generated using cultural relevance ontologies, and the interface is optimized for low bandwidth access. So, as I said earlier, using the Fedora approach, there might be a form of low electricity or no electricity in remote area. If there is solar in remote area, this approach is still usable. And if there is no electricity, it is both offline and online approach. And it is being used by volunteers. That is, maybe the organization using it, they have volunteers like me that I volunteer with whatever organization and UNICEF to carry out this approach. So while the volunteers are using this and the stakeholders, this metadata is generated using culturally relevant ontologies, and the interview is optimized by load bandwidth access. That is, to use this Fedora outsource approach, it doesn't cost much data to use to record all of these things. It is a little data usage for it to be successful. It doesn't cost much, maybe like 1 gig data to get all of this information, which is a fast, progressive approach in order for it to be successful. It doesn't cost a lot, and you won't be using maybe a smart big phone to capture this approach. In essence, there might actually be a smartphone that can be incorporated as Fedora on, if possible, but this is still a very good start for the approach. Next slide. Community-centered workflows. Community participation is vital. That is, for instance, while volunteering with what organization and UNICEF, community involvement, that is, community engagement, is very, very vital in everything we do in remote area. At some point, there might be an outbreak, or maybe the community is fighting, or maybe they are fascinated with a particular vaccine, and there is something like let me put it this way, post-medical reaction. So this post-medical reaction, it can happen anytime. Maybe when someone is being vaccinated, the children of 0 to 54 months is vaccinated, and there is a reaction. If the community leaders or the stakeholders are not involved, before we carry out this approach, there might be a problem, and this will not only affect those people that are volunteered to do that work, it will also affect the project and for a long time. For instance, recently, about last year, there is an information passing out across social media that fasting is killing people in remote area. And most people that live in the city, they have to call their parents. Don't allow them to fascinate our children. Don't allow them to do this to our children. They are trying to kill them. I asked, and they said that Giving vaccine reduce the lifespan of women to give birth. Maybe someone that is supposed to give birth, they will give birth to one if taking the vaccine. So this approach has affected the past vaccination. So this approach now, when recorded, it will show how it is being given, the reaction, the time, maybe as at the point this thing is working. So you'll be able to like get and decode what is really happening and why was this thing happening to them. We are not only solving that problem at their own location, but all other places to get solution to that. Fedora flexible workflow make it possible to integrate local validations, and that is a lot of things. Community participation fighter, training the local custodians, it gives them a lot of sense about what you are doing. You educate them that this is what we are doing in your community. This is what this outsourcing app will work for. This is how it will work, and that's it. That's that. If they are not involved, it is a big challenge to use the app or maybe to use the outsourcing software. This not only ensure accuracy but foster ownership. That is, it will show that this is the people that done this thing. This is the volunteer that came to do this work. It will show their face. It will show the person that's being fascinated, maybe, or maybe the person that is being recorded. It will show a live location and a liveness of what they are doing in that particular location. Then, Fedora flexible workflow make it possible to integrate local validation protocol. That is, it includes local languages. The Fedora-based outsourcing software, it includes local languages. It understands the language that is being spoken by the custodians. So maybe, as I'm talking, for instance, it will be showing the captions of what they are saying. So showing these captions, or maybe the caption will be recorded at the back end, then be able to get the data that we need. Next slide. Challenges and lessons learned. We have faced challenge, internet access, digital illiteracy gaps, and language diversity. For instance, most in rural communities, most of maybe the parents, they don't understand English as the first official language. That is, most of them, they understand their mother tongue. So, including the local languages into Fedora outsource, it will help to solve a lot of challenges in terms of understanding the people in rural community or maybe in local area, remote locations, very much than just going there and be looking for interpreters to interpret it for us because we can work with them. So this digital literacy gap, it will also give them a sense of thinking that why? Let us learn this thing. If they see these things with you, they'll be very amazed to know what are you doing? How are you doing it? Can you teach us? From there, they start learning something. Learning doesn't end. So it is a bit by bit that we get this 1 gigabyte and the rest of them like that. So learning this thing, it gives them a lot of sense of what to do and how to do it. Then the offline access, fair local devices, culturally intuitive metadata, and visual first interface help us adapt Fedora effectively. That is, using the image and what is happening at the end, it will show us the metadata, how those things are being recorded, the captions, the languages, what they are saying, everything will be in action as it is expected and developed by the Fedora outsourcing software. Next slide. Challenges and lessons learned, then impact and early outcomes. So far, we have digitalized over 150 pieces of local content across 5 rural communities. As I said, I have been to over 45 rural communities. I know how all of these things work and how we can go far to incorporate them into action, even without having to like get into more people to get information. Then you can just contact the right authority to get most of the information across Pan Africa in order to make all of these things work. So teachers are now using this opportunity to supplement classes, and young people are engaging with their heritage like never before. So, using all of these pieces of local content across 5 rural communities, that is, let me take for instance, the Kobo College are being used by most volunteers to track the volunteer of what they are doing, maybe to track if they give it to volunteers. We have external volunteers. So, those external supervisors came with the app on their phone and they can easily track you on what they are doing. So, they will track you to your location and that is to and fro. If they are able to track you, they're able to track maybe I don't understand how that works in terms of GPS, but I know the GPS can track you from where you start your work to where you end it. So now this one is not only working on that, it incorporates a lot of image, oral, and visual things. So engaging with classes like these ability supplement classes and young people are engaging with their heritage is like never before. Like understanding this federal outsourced data, it will even help people to even understand their own language because federal serve as a library that even people can learn from it. For instance, let me say federal learn. It can serve as that so that people can learn things from it, from the app, maybe the outsourcing software. You can know that this is where this thing comes from. This is so deep. This is the video. This is the feature. These are the people that incorporated this into action and all of that. Next slide. What's next? We aim to expand this model across more Pan-African regions, not only in maybe like Nigeria, Ghana, and all of the African culture. That is the Pan Africa. And it is not limited to that, that is worldwide. If this is successful. So, our vision is a federated network of federal repositories, locally managed. It is locally managed. It doesn't cost anything. It is very effective. Locally managed but globally connected. It is locally managed but it can connect around the world. That is worldwide. We are also seeking collaborators to help scale this initiative and strengthening the preservation of African cultural intellectual heritage. That is, this particular outsourcing software, it is saving Africa from all those false folktales, histories, information that have been said before that are not true. So, using this federal outsourcing software, it will give us a live video of what is happening, how it happens, those people that this thing happens to. So using that, it will give us a lot of information and data for the coming generations on how to solve challenges when things happen to them. They don't have to like go to one location where maybe they want to travel for 1 month to go and meet someone to understand what is really happening. This is a lot of work now, but it will give a less stress when it was successful for usage around the world. So I will say this approach is solving a worldwide problem, not only in Africa, but around the world. Next. Next. Thank you. Thank you for your attention and for caring about education, equity, and cultural preservation. I welcome your questions, feedback, and potential partnership. You can reach me via email at damolayakub@gmail.com. Let's build a more inclusive income future together. Next slide. So I'll be putting forward the information. This is a picture of me working as a volunteer with UNICEF that time. This work is community-based approach. It was supported by World Bank and Kwara State government that time. So it is to enlighten people about outbreak diseases like cholera, HIV, fever, tuberculosis, and the likes. So engaging the community leaders on what to do when this thing happens and how to solve the problem. The right authority, health center, or health facility to contact when anything happens, maybe to their children or to anyone they know around the community. This is a very worldwide project at the time this thing is presented. Next slide. Then this is a picture of nomadic location, as I said earlier. This is a nomadic location. So this place, we went there to fascinate children, and these are the children maybe around 5 years gaps. Then we have children there too, 0 to 54 months, and their parents present there. That is their house. Their place that look like an home is where they sleep, and that is their home. That is how they build their own houses in remote location. That is where nomadic stays. Then they rear their cattle, their chicken, hen, and the like there. Next slide. Then this is a picture of a community leader heading to an house to inform them that we are back in the community to vaccinate their children. This is an action photo. Next slide. This is a photo of a group of people that is being educated. There's been like we are giving them a program sensitization about how vaccination is working. This is not a real picture of me snapped. This is a captured photo from an internet. So we can see that these people are being engaged to know what is really happening and how vaccines or maybe any other things like Fedora are being used in local and remote locations in order for it to be successful. So engaging the community leaders, the stakeholders, and the like will always make it a successful one and inculcate the habit of using it after all and for generations to come. Next slide. This is a picture of, they call it, it's something like there is a plant underground. These are the children of nomadic. That is, these people, the leaders of people that live in remote area. This is their farm, and these are their female children. Most times they come over there to come and harvest what they plant. That is what they do. They don't have any other thing to do because they don't work with them. They sit at home and them they work, so they bring food for them at home. So their own work is to harvest it, and that is part of combination of working together to achieve their aim. Next slide. This is our team. Our team, we have Professor Vijay Kumar Karandaja. He's the founder and president and executive director of Global Student. The next on the action is me, myself, Yakub Damola Yakub, Global Program and Press Director, Global Student. And we have here with me Gideon Osei Ompong, Global Relation Director, Chairperson, Global Relation Board, Global Student. Thank you for listening.